Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to your first vocabulary lesson based on The Worst Witch, which you listened to and read along with me 2 days ago. So what I'd like you to do for this is go to your plastic folder and take out the new copy that I put in your folders. I gave everyone a new copy, a new just writing copy. It sort of looks like a news copy, another news copy. It's probably a little bit thinner than your news copies, but that's what this copy is for. So I'd like you to open the first page of that new copy. Now, if for any reason you can't find that copy, then you can just write this in your news copy on the next blank page. That's okay too. But I did give everyone a copy, so you should have one. So I want you to open the first page, make sure your pencil is nicely sharpened, and we're just going to write the title, The Worst Witch Vocabulary. So they're going to be words, new words that we have circled and learned from the story that we could maybe use if we were writing sentences of our own, maybe in our news or in any creative writing that we might do later in the year. So we're going to write The Worst Witch Vocabularies, which is a long title, so don't start in the middle, start quite close to the margin on the first page. And remember now, this is a new copy, so neatest cursive writing. Here we go. The Worst Witch, the T-H-E, the worst, W-O, or S-T. Remember to leave a nice space between your words. The Worst Witch, W-I-T-C-H. The Worst Witch. And then we're just going to do a dash, and we're going to write the word vocabulary, which is a big word. Capital V. And vocabulary, for anyone who isn't sure, is another word for words. Okay. V-O-C-A-B U-L-A or Y. Now you may have heard the word abbreviated to vocab. That means you may have heard it shortened to just vocab, which is another way of saying vocabulary. Okay, so as you have noticed, in the video I asked you to circle some words as we went along. Now there were lots of new words that we came across, but I didn't ask you to circle them all because we would have so many. But I did ask you to circle ones that I thought might be interesting to learn. So we're going to write down all the ones we have learned, all the ones that we came across in chapter 1. So if you skip a line after the Worst Witch Vocabulary, like that, and then on the next line I want you to write chapter 1. So C-H-A-P-T-E or chapter, and then the number 1. Okay, so remember, lowercase letters half the size of uppercase letters. So we're going to again skip a line. I'll just do it halfway. And then we're going to write the number 1 inside the margin like this, because we're going to write down the first word that we circled. Can you remember what it was? Well done, it was the word glanced. So G-L, oh, I should have done that to the top of the line. So here we go again, G-L-A-N-C-E-D. Now, can you remember what the word glanced means? Can you remember what it means? Well done, it means to look at something quickly. So to look at it fleetingly or quickly, to just glance at something. Oh my goodness, I'm very crooked today doing these. It's so tricky on the tablet. Well, it's not even a tablet. I'm sort of writing on a mouse. It's like a hard mouse. So I'm not writing, it's not as easy as writing on the board. So glanced, yes, means to look at something quickly. Number 2 was a phrase. It was the phrase absent-mindedly. So that was a really good phrase, absent-mindedly. A-B-S-E-N-T, absent, and then we're going to hyphenate this word. So we put the dash, absent-mindedly. M-I-N-D-E-D-L-Y. So if you're doing something absent-mindedly, remember it means that's correct, that you aren't really aware you're doing it, or you're not really thinking. Absent, because you know that absent means like to be, well, if you're absent from school, you're out. And it's sort of like if something is absent, it's missing. Absent-mindedly, it's like your mind is sort of wandering, your mind is missing, you're not really clued in with what's happening, so you're doing something maybe in a daze. Number 3 was the word tradition. Tradition, T-R-A-D-I-T-I-O-N. So we have to cross our T's and dot our I's. Tradition, and you remember a tradition is like a custom. It's something we do over and over, something that might have been done over the years. It could be a celebration of something that's a tradition. Remember we said that giving presents at Christmas is a tradition. Blowing out candles on the day of your birthday is a tradition. It's something that was passed down from generation to generation. So maybe your great-grandparents did it, and then your grandparents, and then your parents, and then you. So that's what a tradition is. Number 4 is the word received, or E-C-E-I-V-E-D. And to receive something is to get something. So I received it, I got it. Number 5, so make sure you've skipped a line under received. Number 5 is the word fortunately. So fortunately, F-O-R-T-U-N-A-T-E-L-Y. And fortunately means luckily. So if you're fortunate, you're lucky. And it's the opposite of the word unfortunately, because if something is unfortunate, it's a disappointment. It's something that was unlucky. Number 6 is the word enveloped. E-N-V-E-L-O-P-E-D. And enveloped means wrapped. And you'll notice the word envelope is there, which is what you put a letter in if you're posting it, and the envelope would wrap around your letter. So that makes sense now with the word enveloped. So remember, Maud was enveloped in her shawl. Number 7 is the word inquired. I-N-Q-U-I-R-E-D. To inquire about something is to ask about it. So Miss Hardbroom inquired as to why the girls were awake so late. Number 8 is the word glared. Glared, which is another looking word, but it's the complete opposite to glanced. To glare at something is to stare at it in an angry way. You're glaring at someone. It's usually because you're mad. Mad about something. And number 9 was the word creaking. which is just a good descriptive word. C-R-E-A-K-I-N-G, creaking. Okay, so for today, I'd like you to put the first 3 words into a sentence for me. So glanced, absent-mindedly, and tradition. I'm just going to show you with the word glanced how we write those sentences, and then you can do the others on your own. And then tomorrow you'll be doing received, fortunately, and enveloped. And then one of the days next week, I'll ask you to do these last 3, inquired, glared, and creaking. So I want you to skip a line before you do your first sentence, which is with the word glanced. And we're going to write, I'm just going to write a sentence, I glanced at my spellings before the test. So I'm going to write it as 1 because it's spelling 1, or not spelling, but word 1. And I'm going to say, I glanced at. Now you don't have to write this one unless you want to, but I'd like more if you could write one on your own, but I'm just showing you how to format it on the page. I glanced at my spellings. So I'll just write this as quickly as I can. I glanced at my spellings before the test. So I'll just write the test down here. So it means you've looked at them quickly just before the test began. Okay, so let's say that's the sentence you've written. When you've written your sentence, then I'd like you to get a red colour. You can use a pen if you wish, no marker though. So a pen or a twistable or a pencil, and underline the word that you are putting in the sentence. So here it's the word glanced. So just let's check that. So there it is, number 1, glanced. And we've written, I glanced at my spellings before the test. So that's the sentence I've written there. So you guys, I want you to write your own sentences, and beneath each sentence, make sure to skip a line. And I skipped my line there, even with that sentence. So then when you're doing word number 2, which is absent-mindedly, you can make sure you write 2 inside the margin. So you can look at the sentence that Jill Murphy used in her book to see what way it was used in a sentence. Now, don't just copy Jill Murphy's sentences, but you could say maybe, I absent-mindedly bit my nails when I was waiting at the dentist. So that's not very nice, but it is something people do without realizing when they're nervous. They can absent-mindedly bite their nails. So something that you did maybe without realizing it. And the third one for today then is tradition. So you could say, like I was saying earlier, it is tradition to blow out candles on a birthday cake every year. Okay, so there's an example for sentences for today. And tomorrow you're going to be doing received, fortunately, and enveloped. And then next week you're going to do inquired, glared, and creaking. And rewind this video at any stage to listen to the definition of those words. The definition means the meaning of those words, and they're also in the video of chapter 1 of The Worst Witch. Okay, so if you have any questions, just get in touch with me, but I think you should be okay. Well done, guys.